So let's do some reading. You know me on this channel, I like to read. I like to read as well, practice the reading. So let's do some reading rather than just watching a whole bunch of bullshit. We're gonna read the Drake's lawsuit. So not much development as yet. Just to catch you guys up. Obviously, you all know Drake is suing his label UMG for promoting, distributing, and putting out Kendrick Lamar's Not Like That. He is suing for defamation based on the lyrics that Kendrick put out, calling him a pedophile, calling him a PDF file, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. So the lawsuit is still, I guess, being challenged back and forward. UMG has responded, this, and that, but they're still waiting to take it. We don't know if it's going to go to trial or what's going to happen. We're still waiting for more updates. But there's an article here by Billboard that's saying Drake's lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us is dangerous, legal scholars warn. So legal scholars, obviously being lawyers, defamation lawyers, all different type of lawyers and stuff, are saying that the lawsuit in itself is dangerous. Why? Let's find out. Okay, so legal professors are sounding the alarm bell on Drake's high-profile lawsuit against UMG, citing the controversial practice of rap lyrics in criminal cases. So essentially, they're saying that. Let me just read it. A group of legal scholars say Drake's lawsuit against UMG, against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like That, is dangerous because it will have a chilling effect on hip-hop and encourage prosecutors to use rap lyrics as evidence in criminal cases. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. I hear that, but Drake's is not a criminal case. It's a civil case. So I don't know if you you can't really like cite civil cases and criminal cases because very different things, In civil cases, oftentimes there isn't a crime that's being committed. Well, there's a crime of injure. You have either violated someone's privacy, someone's character, someone's personality, whatever the case may be, but you haven't essentially broken a law, if I can put it like that in layman's term, So let's carry on reading. Filed in January, Jake's claimed that UMG defamed him by releasing Lamar's skating diss track, which tarred the Canadian rapper as certified pedophile. He says that millions of people took that lyric literally, severely harming his reputation. That's true, though. Like a lot of people, especially on the internet, majority on the internet, really started to believe that, Drake is a pedophile and all that. We had a whole bunch of internet fucking detectives looking at weird things, bringing up old shit. Look, here's Drake on stage with a 17-year-old. Look, yes, a whole bunch of just weird, very weird things. But anyway, yeah. But in a legal brief filed in case on Wednesday, a group of professors from the University of California, Irvine School of Law, say that Drake's argument is not just faulty, it is dangerous. Okay. Drake's complaint rests on the assumption that every word of Not Like Us should be taken literally as a factual representation, says Professor Charis E. Kubrin, Jack Larab, or whatever, written in the court filing. We urge this court to recognize the danger that the assumption poses. Diss track lyrics are creative art form that are understood by the listener as not as factual argument or a series of news reports, the professor writes, but as hyperbole, bluster, and demonstrations of disrespect that are designed to entertain and impress their audience. True, very, very true. But I think what people are failing to understand, and obviously I'm not going to say no more than fucking legal scholars and lawyers and people, I'm a law student, but I'm just a student, so I still have a lot to learn. But from my understanding, Drake is not suing Kendrick. He's not suing Kendrick for the defamatory lyrics or the song, anything. He's suing his record label for defamation. He's suing the record label because the record label put out the song. The record label put out the song, promoted the song, marketed the song, and allowed it, to carry on. And that's why he's suing. So he's suing it. It's more of like maybe it's just because he's using defamation, and maybe that's the wrong grounds to sue on. But for me, I would have thought it's more of like a breach of contract, maybe something like that, or yeah, like a breach of contract. Because like, let's look at it like this. Say you're Drake. Or say I'm Drake. I want to be Drake. Say I'm Drake, right? And I'm signed to UMG. And UMG also signed Kendrick Lamar through Interscope, all of that. Now, Kendrick Lamar releases the Not Like Us, calling him a pedophile, insinuating all kinds of heinous things, right? Me, as Drake, being signed to UMG as well, being signed to you, why would you then go and promote that song? Why would you even put it out? Because I'm also signed to you. So it's like I'm also your employee. So you have an obligation to make sure that you cannot just now put out things that negatively affect me as your employee as well. You know, I understand that Kendrick is also signed to UMG, so he's also in a way the employee, you know? So in my understanding, I just feel like none of the diss songs should have been put out. Not Drake's Family Matters, not Kendrick's Not Like Us, none of the, because both of those songs, the fact that they're coming from the same record label seems very, 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 very contradictory. You know, it seems like UMG is the one who played these people, you know, to say like, yeah, you released there, you released, because at the end of the day, the people who made the most money is UMG, is the record labels, because they own the songs. So they're the ones who made the most money. But I understand Drake, because he's saying like, bro, like, I've been signed to you for over a decade, you know, and you are comfortable with putting out this narrative, having people, the masses, thinking that I'm a pedophile, and it's just like a heinous thing, you know. It's different if like Kendrick said, "Oh, Drake's a bitch," you know, Drake's a fuck nigga. Oh, he's a white boy. He's not blaming, no. But no, the nigga inferred that he's a pedophile. Like, society hates pedophiles. Everybody hates pedophiles. You know, it's like you probably have like a murderer, a rapist, a pedophile. You know, it's like it's on the list of the most heinous things you could be accused of being. You know, so it's like you as my employer or as my partner, people I've made bunch of money. You know, Drake has been signed to UMG for a minute, long, like most of his first like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 albums, UMG owns them. You know, it's only now that he has a licensing deal where he gets his masters back, but for the majority of his albums, UMG owns it, and all of those hits that he's made for them, he's made that company a lot of money, lots and lots and lots of money, and then they put out this shit. It's just like, bro, you know, it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. I know he's not suing for it being fucked up. He's suing for it being defamatory. So my only issue is that, okay, he's suing for it being defamatory, but because he's suing for it being defamatory, you gotta then sue the person who made the defamatory remarks. That's the issue. But obviously he can't sue Kendrick, because then that would just be even worse. That would just be even worse. If he had to sue Kendrick personally, that would be like a no. So I think him suing the label is just a way of him suing somebody. Somebody has to get sued. Like, somebody has to get sued, because you can't just call this megastar a pedophile. You know, you just can't do that. If Kendrick was signed to Sony, let's say, for example, you're signed to Sony, and then Not Like Us came out, and Sony released it, and Sony marketed it, and Sony distributed it and put money behind it, that's fine. That's Sony. It's a competitor. It's fine. Drake is not signed to Sony. That's okay. But because it's coming from your same label you're signed to, it's like, bro, you're sabotaging me. Like, why would you do that? You know? So I understand Drake's lawsuit. I understand it. You know, but I guess maybe there's just not much legal ground, as these scholars are saying. And then they're saying the implication of the rap lyrics and criminal trial and all of that. That can be disputed, because we all know that, man, rap lyrics are not real. You know, like, I've written a whole bunch of raps where I'm not capping per se, but I'm just exaggerating. Just, you know, it's just swag rap. I'm just saying things that sound cool. Some, you know, like I shot that nigga, pow, pow, pow. I never shot anybody, never hold a gun in my entire life. So, you know, it's just like, yeah, let's continue. The professors warned that the consequences of endorsing Drake's literal interpretation of Kendrick's lyrics would extend far beyond his case, including to the long controversial practice of using lyrics as evidence in criminal cases against rappers. When courts ignore rap's history and artistic conventions, the effect is to deny rap the status of art and instead to flatten lyrics into literal confessions or statements of specific intent. Okay. This problematic treatment has introduced racial biases and an unfair prejudice in countless criminal cases and has created a demonstrable chilling effect across the industry. Okay, I understand that. I understand that. And definitely rap lyrics shouldn't be taken literal. But also it's a thing of like the rappers also need to like not just be saying shit, you know? As a rapper, you can't just now be, oh, you think you can just get on a rap song and say like, because some rappers get on a song and say, yeah, I shot that nigga at 3:15 on the 15th of May at his mom's house. And then I ran away. It's just like, okay, so are we not supposed to take that as literal? We're just supposed to say, oh, no, that's artistic. No, the nigga's snitching. He's self-snitching. So I feel like there is instances where if the rapper is negligent in his lyrics and he is self-snitched, I think then there should be a basis of like, yeah, you see, look, this person was killed on the 15th of May. This person then released a song on the same day saying he killed this person. Are we supposed to say it's art? No, you know? Anyway, the use of rap music as criminal evidence has been widely criticized both because it threatens the right of freedom of speech and can sway jurors by tapping into racial biases. One empirical study authored found that listeners who viewed violent song lyrics responded more negatively if they believed they came from a rap track than if they were told exact same lyrics came from a country or a heavy metal song. Okay. Over the past few years, the practice has drawn backlash from the music industry and led to efforts by lawmakers to stop it, including landmark California state statute. Sorry, this thing's far, guys. I know you guys would think I can't read, but it's very far. I can't see. All right, cool. Moving to dismiss Drake's lawsuit, UMG has argued that Lamar's lyrics are rhetorical hyperbole, the kind of statement that might sound bad but cannot actually be proven false. Since defamation only covers false assertions or fact, statements of hyperbole can't form the basis for such cases. Okay, that's interesting. Also like this is America's jurisdiction, so they have different laws when it comes to. In South Africa, for example, if somebody sues you for defamation, right? Even if what you said about that person is true, if they can prove that it's defamatory, they will still succeed because they can prove that you have defamed this person. Even if what you said is true. If I go on Instagram or Twitter or whatever and I say my ex is a hoe, even if she is a hoe, if she can prove that I said it and I published it and other people publish it and other people believe it, then it's defamatory, you know? So in South Africa, whether something is true or it's not true, if you can prove that it's defamatory and it has affected your inura, then you can prove defamation, you know? All right, let's read the last one. In making the argument, UMG has pointed to Drake's own public support for the 2022 petition criticizing prosecutors for using rap lyrics as evidence in criminal cases. That letter also signed by Megan Thee Stallion, 21 Savage, and yeah, this happened 2 years ago. There was a petition going around. It was in an attempt to sort of help Young Thug, you know, because that's when his trial also started to heat up and they were using his lyrics and everything. So there was a petition going around to ban using rap lyrics in criminal cases and all of that. I understand that, but this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. So even though Drake signed, you can't use rap lyrics in criminal cases, this is a civil case. So it's two different things, not the same thing. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, so I understand what these legal scholars are saying, and they probably know a lot more than I do, and probably have more knowledge and all of that. But just me, my own personal, you know, thinking and understanding, I still believe UMG is wrong. I believe everybody involved is wrong because Drake also released his own scathing remarks and also said some horrible things about Kendrick as well. Called him a woman beater. Said one of his kids belongs is actually Dave's Free's kid. Said a whole bunch of crazy things. So the real monster in this beef, let's be honest, the real monster in the Kendrick versus Drake beef, the real monster is UMG because they're the ones who published all those skating diss tracks. So the real person to get at is UMG. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. The boy is the boy. Hopefully he'll prevail. If they throw out the lawsuit, it's whatever, you know? But if it takes it to trial and they go to trial and the nigga wins and gets a bag, he's the ultimate winner. Let's be honest. If he can defeat UMG in trial. Drake is the ultimate winner. Fuck all that, not like us, super bold, all these funny things, whatever. Yeah, you're still working for Lucian Grange and the Machine. If Drake can defeat the Machine and get a verdict from them and get money from them, GOAT. GOAT. Because people are saying Kendrick won the battle. Drake is going for the war.